Hey everyone, I'm back with part 12. After Donald Trump got done bragging to everyone about how he has the support of dictators around the world, both candidates were asked about the situation going on between Israel and Hamas and the war that's been going on since October of last year. Vice President Harris called Hamas a terrorist organization, and she said that they committed acts of rape and that she believes Israel has the right to defend itself. She also said at the same time as believing that Israel has the right to defend itself, she also believes that far too many innocent Palestinians have been unalived in this war and that it must come to an end. She called for an immediate ceasefire and a release of all hostages. She said that she believes that we need a two-state solution that provides for the security of the Israeli people as well as for the Palestinians alike. She said that as president, she will work to ensure Israel continues to be able to defend itself from Iran and their proxies. Trump responded by saying that if he had been president, Hamas never would have attacked Israel and that Russia never would have invaded Ukraine. He said that Kamala Harris hates the Israeli people and she also hates the Arab people. He said that if elected, he would end the war in Ukraine before he even takes office. He didn't offer any kind of idea of what he would do to end the war in Ukraine. He also didn't give any evidence for Kamala Harris hating either of those two groups of people. Vice President Harris responded by saying she supports Israel and the Israeli people. She said that Trump admires dictators, and Trump has actually spoken openly multiple times about admiration for dictators around the world. He loves to continuously say that Viktor Orban of Hungary wants him to be president again and said that the world needs him to be president. Vice President Harris also said that Trump would let Putin do whatever he wants and has no problem with the fact that he invaded Ukraine. She said that for Trump, victory in Ukraine would be for basically allowing Putin to take over. She said that dictators around the world want Trump to win this election because they know they can manipulate him with flattery and favors. She's not wrong there because I still remember through Trump's presidency, he was going around talking about the fact that he had good relationships with dictators around the world. One of the biggest boasts even today that a lot of the MAGA folks like to bring up is the fact that Donald Trump actually was the first president in years to go into North Korea. But if I remember correctly, when President Obama was running for election, one of the things that he floated the idea of was the idea that he might be willing to meet with Kim Jong-un, and Republicans clutched their pearls and just couldn't believe that that was something he would even consider doing because he was seen as being an enemy of the United States. But whenever Donald Trump does it, it's some great, awesome thing that all of y'all want to brag about. But it's pretty much the same thing. Y'all are just a bunch of hypocrites. Trump was asked how he would end the war in Ukraine if he's to win this election. He didn't give us an answer. All he did was complain about the death toll numbers. He claimed that the numbers being reported to the public are supposedly lower than the actual number of people being unalived in this war. He also complained that supposedly the United States is paying a lot more than Europe is paying to assist Ukraine, when really we're just giving our old military equipment to aid them in the fight against Russia. Donald Trump was then asked if he believes Ukraine should win this war, and he actually didn't give an answer. He refused to answer that question. All he would say is that he wants the war to end. Something I used to hear all the time from Republicans was that America needs to honor her commitments around the world that we make with these other countries. And I just want to point out that when it comes to Ukraine, that's exactly what the United States is doing, because in the 90s, we got Ukraine to sign on to something called the Budapest Memorandum, which was an agreement that we made with them that if they would give up their nuclear weapons, we would agree to defend them in a time of war and crisis like what's going on today between them and Russia. So all of the Republicans who are complaining about the assistance being given to Ukraine really just need to pipe down, because all we're doing is honoring our commitment with Ukraine that we made back in the 90s under Bill Clinton. Vice President Harris responded saying that she thinks the reason Trump would end the war in Ukraine is that he would hand victory to Putin. She also pointed out the fact that she worked with NATO to bring more than 50 countries to support Ukraine in this war effort. She said that it's because of the weaponry that the Biden administration has provided to Ukraine that they're still able to be in this fight, and that is absolutely true. She said that if Trump had been in charge, Putin would have already won this war and he'd be sitting in Kyiv right now. She said that if Putin wins in Ukraine, he'll then go on to Poland and the rest of Europe, which I believe is absolutely true. And I think that's the reason that the Biden administration and NATO have been able to get so many countries to coalesce around supporting Ukraine. Trump just responded by saying that Putin never would have invaded if he had been president. He really didn't say why that is, probably because they're so buddy-buddy, but we'll never really know. And I believe that if Trump had been president, Putin actually probably would have invaded because he knows that, like Vice President Harris said, that Trump would have just allowed him to run roughshod over Ukraine and basically take over. Vice President Harris was asked if she's met with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. She said that she had, and I actually think that they both have met with Zelensky recently. But she did point out at the end there that Donald Trump shows favor to our enemies and strong men around the world. We all know that he does have an affinity for dictators around the world. He's actually been noted to have said that he wants to be treated like a dictator himself. That's all the time I have for this video. I'm going to go ahead and do another part, so stay tuned for that. And please like and follow if you wish to do so. Thanks. See you later.